Good afternoon, good morning, and possibly even a very good evening to some of you. I am really, really excited to welcome each and every one of you to the Advanced Impact Legacy Show, the place where we impact people to create dominion, to advance in their sphere, in their field, to, create enormous impact, both social and otherwise. And of course, the outworking of that is legacy. I am very, very excited today because we have a very distinguished gentleman, a gentleman that over many decades has experience that speaks volumes, not just about his inner being, but also about his work ethic and his skill set in the marketplace and much more. I'm very, very excited to introduce to the audience for the first time a very good friend of mine, an established coach, trainer, mentor, authority in the real estate, field, authority in the Forex space and trading space, bricks and mortar businesses, international business. He's even been involved in the development of Dubai with the cement business back in the day. He was also known as the king of gold in Dubai, the man that you could go to make sure that you actually got your gold bricks and biscuits. And today he's very kindly, agreed to spend a bit of his time with us today to share some of the principles, his entrepreneurial journey, and also to, just impart some of the ingredients and principles and no nonsense of the money mindset that has made him king in many, many different virtuals. Without further ado, I'm going to bring on board my dear friend, Mr. Aslam Cheval.
Hey.
How are you?
I am extremely well. Thank you for such a long and introduction. I mean, there's
I hope it was
okay. Absolutely. Why not? Bring it on. I'm all for it.
There's so much to your journey, and it's very hard to sort of narrow it down. But what I really like about you is that you've kind of got to the top in many different spaces, but you haven't forgotten this sort of key principle of giving back and helping others to rise, upon their way as well. And I think that really speaks a lot in your mentoring, your coaching, and your training, which is very, very honorable indeed. I do want to start from the beginning, maybe not the beginning, but definitely from, your early days. Where are you from? What are some of the early experiences that may have set your path in this direction so that the viewers can get a feel of who you are, what your background is, and essentially what shaped Mr. Aslam Cheval?
You'll need a long time for that. I don't think 50 minutes is going to be enough for it. But I originally, I was born in India, Bombay. My parents migrated from there. And just a sec, let me just shut off. Otherwise, these things are going to keep pinging around with me.
Yeah, I've got
my parents migrated from India, and when I was very, very young.
Right.
So basically, they migrated to Pakistan, and that's where I grew up. So I'm more got into that culture.
Sure.
And as all immigrants, they migrate looking for a better life for themselves and their family. My parents did the same thing. And like all immigrants, when they come to another country, they come without any money.
Okay.
So the same scenario was with my parents. So I kind of like grew up in a scarcity environment.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. My father had to get up a job, and he was working as an insurance agent, I think, going from place to place, walking during that time. My mother was a very creative person. So I got a lot of it from her in that sense. My business thing was a lot from my father. But my mother was extremely creative, and especially in fashion industry.
Okay.
But because there wasn't enough money around, so what she would do was that she would go to the markets, which would be selling cloth, and she would buy the cut piece that was the leftover from the yarn, whatever that was left. So she would get it at a cheaper price. So the trimmings and the buttons and the cloth that she would use, she would put it together and just make a one-off dress. So she was making dresses for newborn and 1-year-old and 2-year-old. And that was the only size that she could fit the material in.
Yeah.
And she kind of like grew in that, we grew into that industry, and they eventually opened up a shop and I was in the shop.
Okay.
But the money mindset was always extremely scarcity. Yeah.
Really?
We have 4 of us. I've got an elder sister and 2 younger brothers. And of course, the clothes were always passed on, the books were always passed on. So, we could not get the best of the things we wanted. We always had to make do with what we had.
Yes.
So growing up with that was a challenge for us. And me being a destructive person, like in anything that came, I needed to find out how things work. So I had a very technology mind, and I'm still very much into technology. I love technology. Technology is one of my best things, So I was trying to push my way through that, but from a very young age, I got pulled into my parents' business that was looking into the shop.
Mm-hmm.
So started going to the shop at a very young age, and that's where I learned the skills of sales.
Right.
Because initially when I went in and I said, okay, I'm the boss's son, I went and sat on the chair. My father said, get out from there, take the broom and start cleaning the shop. Start attending, you're not here to sit on the chair.
Yeah.
So that was my growing up and learning, the hard way. But it was the streetwise way, I would say.
Okay.
When I started my own business, I went into garments even at the same time. And I
really?
started from a very small factory with just 4 workers, and I built it into quite a reasonably sized industry. And we had political crisis happening in Pakistan, and I kind of lost most of it during that time. But learning everything that I had from my mother, learning how to stitch, learning how to cut the garments was a key thing for me, because the workers could never pressurize me. So every time, a worker tried to act too smart with me, I would say, okay, move, I can do it for you. I can show you how to do it. I can show you how to cut. I can show you how to use this machine. So I was kind of I got into it. But it was in 1989 when I came to the UK.
Okay, wow.
This is, again, I migrated from Pakistan because I lost quite a bit over there during the political crisis. And I kind of got fed up because I was supplying to all over Pakistan, and problems would happen in Karachi and my payment would get stopped in Lahore or in Islamabad for no reason. So this was becoming a very difficult scenario, and I eventually decided to give up and come here.
Mm-hmm.
My journey here was, I came here with my wife and 2 kids. My kids are British. My wife was British. I was the only one from Pakistan. So it was easy to settle down over here and find a way out. But I knew nothing. I came here, and the next day morning, Matt, I was crying.
Really? Okay.
I was literally
Was it
crying.
the cold weather, Aslam? Was it the cold weather?
No, it wasn't the cold weather. We lived a luxury life over there.
Right.
Going to the clubs, having a driver, doing what we wanted to. My apartment was a huge apartment.
Yeah.
Over there we had servant quarters where the servants would stay, and they would come over. And when I moved in here, we arrived in the evening, late evening, and the next day morning I opened my eyes and I was like, holy shit, where have I got my family into?
Wow.
This house is smaller than the servants' quarter we have.
Good Lord.
And my wife, she comes up into the kitchen. I was there trying to make tea. Actually, I told her to make tea. I didn't even know how to make tea because we had servants that time. And I just requested, listen, I'd like to have tea. And she said, well, I'm going to show you how to make tea. And I said, do I have to learn? Can't get somebody to do it? And she says, no, you also have to clean your own toilet. You
Right.
also have to clean the whole house. We all have to do all these things now that we are over here. And yeah, I had to pick up all that stuff because I had no choice. My family, my wife and my kids and all, we landed here with just £1,000 in our pocket.
Wow. In 89, right? Wow.
1989. Next day morning, the landlord came.
Oh, I bet he
He
did.
took he took £250 as a deposit,
Yeah.
£250 as the
Welcome to
rent
Britain,
advancement,
right?
and my wife took £100 from me to go and do the shopping for the house because we had young kids.
Right.
So I had literally £400 left,
Good Lord.
and that's where my journey started.
Wow.
So it hasn't been. I mean, I would say God has been really kind. I mean, I've seen a lot of people go through a lot more struggle.
Of course.
I was very fortunate that I got into the system very quickly because I used to do markets, like supplying clothes from shop to shop. I
Ah,
got into the market industry over here, so I went into Petticoat Lane and bought some stuff from there in wholesale and
remember it
started
well.
selling
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
selling shops, going shop to shop selling stuff
I think
and
I bought
building.
a leather jacket down in Petticoat Lane in 1989.
Yeah.
So maybe even bought it from you, Aslam.
So, and from there, I got an opportunity to get into Topshop Oxford Street.
Wow. That's big.
So that was a small concession, like they gave me that I could sell my costume jewelry and my watches over there.
Yeah, they have the concessions downstairs, right?
Yeah, downstairs it used to be. So I used to sell my stuff over there. And then they told me to go into Bond Street Topshop. And then I got into Jane Norman. And then I got into Trocadero. And I just kind of like mushroomed.
Wow.
And then came 1995 recession.
Oh, yeah.
We used to make most of our money during the summer holidays when the Arabs would come down.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I would say more than 50% of our business was made during that period. And 95, the Arabs did not come.
Oh, they didn't come.
And they didn't come because the World Football was taking place in America. So they all went to America to see the match.
Ah, okay.
So Oxford Street went through a massive depression.
Wow.
We got hit very badly in that time. I kind of like started closing off most of my units because I couldn't afford it. I
Yeah.
couldn't take care of it. Things were going wrong in a very different way because people would come, they would buy the stuff over the weekend, they would party, and then on Monday they would bring it back, they would break it and bring it back and get the money back. So that was a massive loss I was picking up.
That's an old London trick, unfortunately, isn't it?
All London trick.
Yeah.
I guess it's everywhere now. These big stores have to give that service,
Really
100% refund.
crazy.
So I came out of that industry and I went back into my garment,
Ah, okay.
something I was staying away from. But this time I went into the garment business was with a good relative of mine who I trusted very much.
Yes.
I wasn't so good with accounts. I mean, I
Right.
did learn how to maintain the accounts and all that, but when it came to money handling, it was always my father handling the money, so I wasn't much of a money person.
Mhm.
So I let this cousin of mine, do the handling of the money and everything. And I made a reasonable amount to
Yeah.
buy my first property.
Okay.
And the first property I bought was pretty cheap. The only reason was because it was in a rundown state.
Okay.
And my idea was that, okay, I can afford to buy this with this money I have,
Hmm.
and I will got the extra cash and I will do the house up as I go along, so make it as I go along the way we wanted. Purchased the house. The next thing I know is my cousin emptied the bank account and left me high and dry.
Wow.
And that was really put me in a bad shape because I just didn't know how to tell my family that we don't have any money.
Wow.
Yeah, it was extremely difficult and very painful for me. and nobody was there to help me out in that situation. Nobody. I tried calling everybody back home. This is the situation I'm in. Can you please speak to them? Can you please, because I need my money back. Nobody was ready to help me. Being all alone in UK, which I'm still all alone. I stay with my immediate family, my wife and my kids.
Of course, yeah.
But I don't have any relatives over here.
Okay.
So, making it short, a friend came across who kind of like took me into his wings, and I got into electronics, which I liked very much. Started making money again into the electronic business. We were supplying. We got an opportunity to start selling stuff to Dubai, so which we started supplying to Dubai. Dubai was upcoming with the real estate. We went to
Right.
2000. I then got an opportunity to buy my first investment property. And I don't know if you remember, in 2000, property was parabolic.
Yeah.
Something the way cryptocurrency does, Bitcoin does. That's the way property used to
Credit
operate.
was flowing, and it was just crazy.
It
right?
was just, banks were giving us 100% mortgage because they knew it was just on the rise. Today, 100%, tomorrow it's gone up by 5, 10, 15%.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we were getting, and we were just investing it into, we were buying and buying and buying. Got into Dubai, got into the Dubai market, into the real estate.
Wow.
And I realized, hang on, I'm from Pakistan. A lot of cement comes from Pakistan. Let me start supplying even Pakistan. We were making a lot of money that time. But unfortunately, in 2008,
Yep. That's a dirty word.
Financial crisis came. I was brokering gold even at that time, so much was there, so it was a fun time. And it was one of those, it's one of that song which I remember during school days. Those were the days we thought would never end. We would sing and dance.
Yeah.
But eventually, one fine day, 2008, it was a Friday, and my bank manager calls me up and she says that, Mr. Cheval, you've got some cash lying in your savings account. Would you be interested in transferring that money into this particular account of yours? Is it okay? And it was quite a few six figures.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not sure because I may need that money, but let me just check what is it, and I'll come back to you on that on Monday.
Yeah.
Now, I was so busy with my work in Dubai, I was totally engrossed in it. I did not know what was happening around the world. I go to the mosque on Friday for prayers, and this friend of mine comes up and he said, so what's happening with Barclays Bank? Sorry to use that name. We've heard they've approached Abu Dhabi for money. What do you mean they've approached Abu Dhabi? Have you not heard the banks are going down?
My gosh.
And I quickly, I went back, started Googling, and I realized what was happening. I mean, of course, it was 2007 things that started to happen, 2008 when the crash happened.
Yeah.
And literally, me listening to that, me knowing everything about it, in 72 hours, my life changed.
Wow.
Real estate collapsed. Banks started collapsing. Prices everywhere started going into less than half. I was like in negative equity all over. We were buying cement and we were selling cement on credit. So that was the only way we could make profits out of it because these guys could supply directly otherwise.
Yeah.
So the way we were making profit was we were buying it in cash and selling it and giving a credit.
Yeah.
And this was a lot of money involved. And the next thing we knew is that the developers disappeared, leaving us with Dutch checks.
Yeah.
So I was in really, really bad state. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to face the world again. I mean, this was for me, this was technically the third build up for me again. I had helped some friends. My friends had taken the money and gone away. They were refusing to pay back, So I was like literally left with no money and to restart my life again.
Wow.
came back to London, and but what happened was towards the end of my stay over there, my manager, a good friend of mine, he said, "Listen, Aslam, I can see you are in a suicidal state," because I was literally, because I did not know what to do. Where am I going to get the money from? And he says, "Get in touch with my wife. Maybe she can help you.
Mm-hmm.
She's an EFT specialist. She will be able
All
to
right.
help you out with it." So I didn't know what that was. I went to her. She took 5 hours. She worked with me,
Wow.
EFT, emotional freedom
Yeah.
technique. And I was like, wow,
Yeah.
wow, that was amazing. I was like energized. Okay, and she explained to me, what was actually going around. And next day I was flying back out from there, started doing some research on EFT, and I come across this YouTube video of You're Born Rich.
Oh,
And I'm
Bob
like,
Proctor.
and I'm like, holy cow. I mean, he's saying I'm born rich. Where the hell is my bloody money?
What a title.
Yeah. So it was a 10 hours, 3-part video. I downloaded that and I
Yeah.
watched that all the way through back home. And I was like amazed. I said, I need to figure this out. I like this guy. Did
Yeah.
more research. I realized that he had done the movie The Secret.
Yes.
So I watched The Secret and I watched You're Born Rich again, And that's when I said, I need to meet this guy.
Wow.
I really need to know more as to his teaching because this was something I did not understand. And I started doing more research on him,
Mm-hmm.
trying to find out more about it. And in The Secret, they talk about the law of attraction.
Of course, yeah.
That's the primary, that's what they talk about. And what's happening is that the more research I'm doing on him, the more I am seeing Bob Proctor coming on my face, in the sense like I'm opening up a page and I see Bob Proctor's ad coming up.
You're seeing him
I'm
everywhere.
opening up, going into there, I'm seeing everywhere. And I'm saying, maybe that's the law of attraction. It's telling me to go and see him,
Yeah.
I didn't realize, retargeting was also part of the law of attraction. So I eventually got in touch. I went and did his high ticket product, which was Matrix.
Top
Stayed
program.
with him for 7 days. Stayed with him for 7 days. Totally changed my mind.
Wow.
Did his coaching program once. Went and did his coaching program again. Did his thinking into result coaching even. And I was like, I need to know more.
Yeah.
I need to know more how this thing works. But what really changed me was one day I was, like he invited all of us over to his house for lunch.
Okay.
And we were sitting there and having lunch, and I'm speaking to him my story as to what had happened, my journey. And he says, it's a shame that you're still holding on to it. You could have been free of that long time back.
Wow.
And I said, what do you mean? He says, you need to forgive them.
Okay.
And I said, Bob, from the country I come and the culture I come, we don't forgive people. We don't forgive people. We will take them to the grave and we'll pull them out and we'll still not let go of it. We are that. So he says, no, you need to let go of it. And I said, okay. Next day, I'm back in the room, and Sandy, his partner, she comes up to me with the mic and she says, so have you forgiven? And I said, forgiven what? She says, what Bob has told you to. And I said, no, I haven't. And then the cameraman, he comes with the camera on my face. And I'm seeing myself on this huge screen. And I'm like, oh my God. And I just said, okay, I forgive him. I forgive them for whatever they've done. My family, everybody, And Bob has got a very heavy voice. He says, no, I want you to tell your story.
Okay.
And when I'm telling that story, I'm emotionally getting involved. I was so attached to that event. I was so attached. And I was like, my throat was getting, choked up.
Yeah.
And that's when he says, forgive them now.
Wow.
And I said, no. He says, no, do it now. Seriously, do it now. I mean, it was a bit of a longer scenario, and I let go of it.
Mhm.
And I forgave. And I just broke down. I just broke down. And then he's telling me, you need to send love to them. And I said, you can't be serious about that. I just forgiven them. You want me to send them love even? But I did what he said. And I did send. And later on, I asked him, I said, why did you make me do all that? And he says, to forgive, you need to forgive yourself first, which you did.
Yeah.
And I said, why did you tell me to send love? He says, in order to send love, you need to first love yourself. How can you send love when you don't love yourself?
Incredible.
So this was extremely powerful for me, which I still hold on to it. And I teach people that you need to let go.
Yes.
It doesn't bother the other person one bit.
Yeah.
But you are choking yourself up.
It eats us
You're
up.
choking.
Yeah.
It eats us up. It eats us up completely inside.
Mm-hmm.
We want other people to love us, but we don't love ourselves. We find all kinds of faults in ourselves.
Yeah. So true.
And then we wonder why people don't love us. So, I mean, this is all related to making money even.
Absolutely. Because they're blocks, right? They're actual blocks.
Yeah.
In the flow.
I mean, one of the metaphor I was, in fact, when I was coaching yesterday, and I said, we've got this pipeline going. I mean, we have this energy that is coming into us, which is pure energy,
Right.
right? People call it with a different name, whether it's God, Allah, Bhagwan, energy, source energy, spirit,
Universe, etc.
whatever it is.
Mhm.
Moment that comes in, our thoughts, which I explain it as Play-Doh, takes form.
Right.
What you make out of that thought, that energy that is coming in, is eventually goes in and expresses itself out.
Ah.
It has to express itself out. I mean, you've done NLP and all that, so you know.
Yeah.
So whatever comes in, it has to come out. Now, whether it's negative or positive, it comes out. And when it's expressed out, it comes back. So your action has a reaction.
Yes, of course.
So whatever you put out comes back in.
Yeah.
So the reaction is what I explain to people as the law of attraction.
Okay. And can I just stop you for a moment, Aslam? That simple sort of way that you've just described it, I find, and I'm sure the viewers will find, is much more helpful and practical than a lot of the stuff we see written in text.
It does.
Yeah, really, really good. Thank you for sharing that.
So the metaphor I use is basically, you've got this pipe going,
Right.
and you've got a tap. You opened the tap, and the water is flowing from there.
Mm-hmm.
And at the other end, the water is coming out. Now, that's your 9 to 5 job, or that's your regular job, or whatever the mindset of yours is. Your mindset is the pipe.
Okay.
The tap is the energy that's coming into it,
Which is free, right? It's free.
which is flowing free. Now, when you've grown up, you've got a nice, clean vessel pipe. It's a clean pipe you've got with the clean energy that is flowing into it. But as we are growing up, and given the current climate that we are in, with this pandemic that's going on, the pipe gets filled. So
Right.
now you've got the money instead of the water. I'm saying the money is coming in,
Mm-hmm.
and the pipe, which has got filled with doubt.
Ah.
So now there's a slight blockage, and it's pushing its way through. And what has happened now is worry has come in.
Okay.
So now there's a bigger blockage.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's pushing its way through even more, and then fear comes in.
Okay. Yeah.
So now your pipe has got doubt, worry, and fear. What happens is that it stops to flow.
Yeah. 100%.
I mean, the book I was reading, You Too Can Be Prosperous. He's put it very beautifully in it. He says, God, I mean, it's in the Bible even, ask and you shall receive.
Yeah.
Knock and it shall open, and the door will be opened.
Yeah.
And like God's is very, very clear in this thing, and it's in all the books and everywhere. Ask and I will give you. I mean, we are actually made in God's image. Yeah. If your children were to ask you for something, wouldn't you fulfill it?
Yeah,
We
exactly.
would.
Of course.
Why wouldn't God fulfill our dreams? Why won't God fulfill our demands? We are God's kids even.
Yeah.
But he has a condition. The condition is very, very clear. Either I'm with you or the doubt, worry, and fear is with you.
Okay. You can't have both,
The
right?
two, you can't have both of us.
Mm.
So if you remove doubt, worry, and fear and replace it with faith,
Right.
everything changes.
Yeah.
Everything changes. A lot of people over here, they use their five sensory factors,
Yes.
right? If I see it, I will believe it.
Mm.
What am I seeing right now is the pandemic that is going all around here, and everybody's going crazy. They're the anti-vax and they're the vax people, and all that is happening. The economy is so bloody effed up.
Yeah.
All that is going on. What is all that? Doubt, worry, fear, all that is being created.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are people who have not gone on board with that, and they've kept the pipes clean and
Yes.
have made millions in this current economy.
Yeah.
They are making millions.
Absolutely.
The tech industry is just blown out of proportion.
Tell me about it.
So, if it can't be all that bad if there are other people who are making money.
Yeah.
Because they've got that mindset. They've not let that worry and they've not let the fear come into it.
Yeah. And I know, I mean, we won't go into our private conversations. Before the pandemic, me and Aslam used to meet quite regularly in a very nice little hotel.
Milton
We'd have
Keynes.
coffee
No,
and
we used
just
to meet up
like-
at Luton.
Yes, in Luton, yes. And I know since the pandemic, you've kind of told me about a couple of very techie things that you're up to. So you're obviously living this as well. These are not just ideas for you. You're actually implementing this in your everyday working life, which I think is really important for the viewers, because without any judgment, there's a lot of viewers out there and a lot of people out there that know a lot of this stuff. They read it and it's almost like their entertainment. But when it comes to actually implementing and taking the action and having that faith, as Aslam kind of frames it, they're missing. Why is that, Aslam, in your opinion?
Why is that?
Yeah, why do some people read, say, The Secret, or they read, or they go on a Bob Proctor program, and then they do nothing with it? And why do others, like yourself, sort of take it and take the ball by
because
the
they
horn?
don't take action. The law of attraction, the last part of the attraction is action.
Right.
We've got two parts of the mind, conscious mind and subconscious mind. The conscious mind is the mind which takes in all the information. It takes in all the knowledge.
Yeah.
It is the part which can accept and reject whatever you tell it to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is the subconscious mind. When you give that instruction to the subconscious mind that this is what you need to do, the subconscious mind is the heart. It is connected to the heart. It's the emotion mind. It's your conscious mind is the thinking mind. The subconscious mind is the emotion mind.
Yes.
The emotion mind is basically the one which does all the function. Lifting up your hands, making you walk, making you do the work, everything. But it's the conscious mind which is collecting all the information, like we went to school.
Yeah.
We learned all the information. We collected all the books. What did we do with it?
Yeah, exactly.
We just stacked it up, but we never took it into action. Those who took action with it did something out of their life.
Yeah.
The same thing is they've gone to events, they've gone to courses, they've gone through books, hundreds of books.
Yeah.
They've just accumulated the knowledge.
Okay.
I can read how to swim. I can read how to ride a bicycle, but till such time I don't jump into the pool,
Yeah.
I won't be able to swim. Till such time I don't take a bike and ride. And I will get hurt. It's not that I won't get hurt. I will get hurt. And I may get the fear of drowning even, and I may choke myself even. But
Yeah.
if I know, and if I take the practice, and if I keep doing it over and over again, you become good with it. None
Absolutely.
of these people who have gone through, including yourself, you've gone through a lot over. These athletes, when they are on the track, they bruise themselves up so many times before.
Yeah.
I remember reading, there was this video I had about Usain Bolt, and he says, it's so easy, you did this entire round in a couple of minutes. Or the guy on the diving board who does that, like 10 seconds flip and all that stuff, and he gets a gold medal. But look at the working behind it, the practice that is put behind on that, the amount of runs he's had to do over it, the amount of failures that they've had over it before they achieve the success that they have. Elon Musk, how many rockets he's blown off, on the way to Mars? That's all. Failure is good. Failure is good.
I love that. Yeah.
It just makes you so much better when you fail.
100%.
In the coaching industry, we always say, the more no's you get, the better it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But a lot of people are too scared. I had one person approach me long time back, and he says, I work for a sweet shop. And I said, that's very good. He said, I've been working for that person since the last 10 years. I said, okay, so what do you want? He said, I've accumulated enough money and I've seen a shop place where I want to open my business. I said, that's very good. I said, do you have all the contacts? He says, I've got all the contacts. I said, then why don't you open? He says, I'm only worried. What if it is not successful? And I said, you know what? It won't be. It won't be.
Wow.
But if you just switched it over and he says, what if it is successful?
Yeah.
Why don't you think of it that way? Why don't you think that this business I'm going to get into is going to be successful? Exactly. You're putting the fear, you're putting the doubt before even you've taken the step. Mm-hmm. I remember I was listening to one of the events I was at, and Brooke Castillo, I was listening to Brooke Castillo, and she says that if we were told to walk at this age, we were told to learn how to walk. None of us would do it.
Love it.
The reason why the child does it, because it's got no fear. Its focus is only to look.
Walk. Yeah.
Look, Dad, I can walk. Look, I can ride the bicycle. Look, I can run. But it's the dad, it's the mother, it's the stop, you will hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Don't ride fast, you will bruise yourself.
Yeah.
Be careful, you may drown yourself. You've put the fear into the child.
Wow. Wow. That is profound. That is really, really profound.
My mother caught hold of me by my one leg and one arm, and she threw me in the swimming pool, and she says, go swim yourself out.
No lessons.
That's how I learned swimming.
Yeah.
No lessons. That's how my son learned how to ride the bike.
Yeah.
He does roller skating and bikes and all kinds of stunts on it. Self-taught. No fear.
No fear. Best way.
Yeah. So basically, to make money is not difficult.
Okay. This was what I was going to ask you, actually. So please, tell the viewers, because there's a lot of people that live in scarcity. It's become their sort of home. And like you said, they're full of fear, anxiety, worry. These like recessions and pandemics don't help. And so what would you say to those people about making money, changing their mindset, what would you say to them?
Look, man, we are the only species on this planet which are totally disoriented in our environment.
Yeah.
Every other species is comfortable the way they are. The bird will build its nest.
Mhm.
The insects will make their burrows or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They all have been living the same lifestyle for many, many years, since
Okay.
centuries.
Wow.
We, from a very stone age, were not comfortable with the way we lived. We had two fears: fear of height, fear of sound, which we were taught in practitioner and master practitioner. And a little fear is good to have because it keeps us safe.
Yeah.
Sure. It is to keep us safe from things. But we, being disoriented, we were given, all the other creatures living on instinct.
Mhm.
And the instinct are the first five sensory factors, which is the see, smell, taste, hear, and touch.
Yeah.
That's what you use. You see and you react to it. You hear and you react to it. You smell and you react to it. But other than that, we also have higher faculties, which no other creature has. We've got the perception, we've got the intuition, we've got the memory, we've got the will, we've got the reason. And our biggest thing that we have is imagination.
Wow.
That's what I told you about the Play-Doh, our thoughts.
Mm.
You take a thought and you mold it into what you want.
Yeah.
God, Allah, Bhagwan, energy, whatever, everything that needs to be created is already created and it's already here.
Yeah.
Nothing needs to be created. It's all done. This was here 1,000 years back, but we did not have the need of it.
Okay. Wow.
The cameras, everything was here. It was all created, but we did not have the need of it. It's only when the need arrives, the person thought of it. Steve Jobs thought of it. Why not make a phone and put a screen here and do this thing inside? He did the drawing and he created that stuff.
This is deep.
An architect first creates the drawing in his mind.
Mm.
It's the clay dough he works with.
Yeah.
He then puts that drawing on a piece of paper.
Wow.
Then he sketches it out into perfection and he creates it as a building.
Wow.
The Wright Brothers.
Yeah.
What did they? They were bicycle mechanics. Two bicycle mechanics, children of a pastor, and they were going to go against God's will. That's what the father said. And he said that you're going to burn in hell. You're going to do this. You're not supposed to fly. We are human beings. But they saw that vision. They had that vision. And they created the plane. And what did the people say? Oh, it was up for only 15 seconds. The Wright brothers, Wilbur Wright, yes, it was up for 15 seconds. That was more than enough for us. Look where we go, where we are now.
Exactly.
116 years or 108? 103. 1903 is when the first flight took place.
Not that long, right? Wow.
Yeah, look at it. We've got the Boeing 380, which is a double decker, which carries almost 500, 600 people.
You've ever been on one? They're huge, aren't they?
Yeah.
Absolutely huge.
You've got, if you go into the first class, you have a bathroom, you have your own shower in there, you've got everything, you can sleep there, everything you can do. That's technology.
Absolutely.
So we can create by using our imagination. Okay. Everything out this over here has been created by our imagination. You just got to sit and trust yourself, believe, have faith, not fear. Have faith and believe in yourself that you can achieve what you want to.
Yeah.
Let that energy flow in.
Now I'm gonna throw a cat amongst the pigeons. Well, maybe. It really does help to get somebody that knows how to do this to give you a hand, doesn't it? If you're starting out. So
Of course.
somebody like yourself, you obviously you've done this for many a year. You've trained with the best people in the world. We've also trained with some mutual people that we both know. But it really does. If you're a viewer out there, doing this on your own, it will work, but it's a longer path than, say, getting in touch with someone like Aslam, who can sort of shorten the path, create efficiencies, and make sure that you're getting it aligned to.
It's so important. It doesn't matter in what state of business you are in, whether you're a millionaire or a multimillionaire, or you're in your 6 figures or 5 figures. Get a coach, get a mentor.
Yeah.
Get someone who can guide you through the success that you want to achieve, because we have done it, or we know how to do it. We've gone through all the process,
Yeah.
We fine-line the things up for you.
Absolutely.
I mean, Tiger Woods, world's best golfer, has a coach.
He's got a few, actually, but
He's got a few. In fact, I would suggest get a couple of coaches, one for your business, one for your mindset, whatever it is. Get a couple of coaches and work with them and listen to them.
Yeah.
Listen to them, because a coach can see you from a third eye, which you can't see.
That's what I love about you. Sorry to cut you. Is that when the coaching world opened up to you, you flew straight over to Canada. You didn't take the sort of, the smallest course that you could find and test it. You flew straight to Canada. You made it happen. You stayed with Bob. You did his top courses. And I mean, look at the result that investment in yourself has given you. It's incredible, right?
I not only did that, I mean, after learning from Bob, and I realized that our mind is everything that does all the damn tricks around us, Yeah. I mean, everything that is here, if you're not making money, it's because of yourself.
Yeah. 100%.
It's got nothing to do with anybody else, It's not your wife, your husband, your children, anything. If you're not making, because you're not making money, it's your own projection.
One question. It's not really my question, but be helpful for the viewers. We're living in the UK, there'll be people in America. We're living in first world. We know it's not all like that, of course, but we're living in fairly privileged societies where there are safety nets and there's people willing to help and stuff like that. Does this stuff work for someone who's, say, in a slum in like Africa or in the Philippines somewhere, who's in real poverty? Does it work for them?
Yeah.
Okay.
You just got to change your mind.
It's the mind.
It's not the environment.
Wow, love that.
There are so many people who have come out from that area completely, and have gone and made money.
Right.
I mean, I don't know his name, but who's right now the current CEO for Google?
Yeah, I know who you
mean.
He's
an Indian. He's an Indian. If you really look at his background, he's from Kerala, from not such a rich family, but he changed. Even if you're...
His parents get his ticket to America or something like that. Yeah.
There are people who have been in an absolute scarcity environment, but they did not accept that.
Yeah.
Because remember, you create your own life.
100%. 100%.
You are 100% responsible for everything that is around you.
Yeah.
Once somebody stops blaming that, oh, I can't do that because I'm staying in a hut over here in the middle of Africa where there is no water and there are no crops and, everything is dying.
Yeah.
Try to flip over. Try to see what you can do from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because everything that you need is here. You just got to tune into that frequency, which I love teaching and coaching and all that. The way our frequency works, the way our mind works, the way our emotions expresses everything out. It's only when you get into that zone, you start seeing. A person earning 4 figures and a person earning 8 figures, they've got the same energy coming in, but it's his frequency he is with.
Wow.
Yeah, he's at the energy that he is basically, which is just giving him 4 figures.
Yeah.
But the way the 8 figure or the 7 figure or the 6 figure person thinks is very different. He's
And that's
ready
why
to take challenges.
they always bounce back, right, to their frequency.
Yeah, yeah. But because the 4 figure one is not in a position to handle the 5 figure or the 6 figure, and if he wins a lottery, what happens? He'll lose everything. He'll blow it away because he cannot maintain that image, the self-image that is there. You need to create, So it's like they often say in this industry, they often say, you've got to fake it till you make it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you must have heard of that. I
Yeah.
kind of like twisted that.
Yeah, it needs a twist.
And I said you've got to faith it till you make it.
I like that. I'm going to borrow that one, Aslam, if that's okay with
Definitely.
you.
Go ahead.
I love that.
You've got to have the faith in yourself.
Mm.
When you have that faith that I can do it, the Wright Brothers did it. Edison did it.
Yeah.
Everybody over here, Roger Bannister did it.
Yeah.
All these guys, they had faith in themselves that we can do it.
Yeah.
And they did not let defeat, they did not let failure stop them from doing it because they just pushed themselves up.
Exactly. Incredible.
I don't know the exact figures. Edison, some say 1,000 times, some people say 10,000 times. There's all kinds of numbers.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever number it was, it's enough to put a person off. I mean, if I was to fail 100 times, I'd say, screw it, man, I'm not doing it. Mm-hmm. That guy did not let go of it.
Yeah.
And he created, look what we have now.
Yeah.
The Wright brothers did not let go of it. Look what he did, what we are doing. We are benefiting all that.
Incredible.
All these guys, Elon Musk has got that vision to go to Mars and set things up over there.
Yeah, I'm not quite on that page yet, but it's a bit of a stretch. No,
but it is a stretch, but it's not a stretch for him.
Yeah, that's right.
It's not a stretch for him.
Yeah.
I mean, the frequency, basically, if I was to dial your number in this,
mm-hmm.
it would get to you straight off and it'll only come to you.
Yeah.
That's the frequency. In the same way, everything operates at a frequency. When you dial the £1 million that you want to make, or you dial in the 6-figure dollars that you want to make, and you maintain that image, and you maintain that persona of yours, that I am that person, I believe that person, I behave like that person.
Yeah.
Your subconscious mind does not know the difference whether it is real or it's an imagination.
Exactly.
Everything for your subconscious mind is a picture.
Mm-hmm.
Put the best picture to your subconscious mind and just believe that is going to come through, and it will come through.
Yeah, and it does. I've got personal experience of that. Even this year, some incredible things. And I know you've got decades of experience of it, Aslam, through all of the businesses. And I also know your sons are very successful as well, which for me speaks volumes. Yeah. And I know you go over to Denmark and got a granddaughter, and so you're living a really good life, and I really appreciate that. Just in final kind of comments and closing, is there anything that you'd like to say to the audience when we put the YouTube video up next week? We'll have all of Aslam's links. Do follow him. He's got a really good group, Redefining Your Results. I encourage you all to join that. And, it's a journey that's done better, with a mentor, with a coach, or in community. So you'll have all of his links. You can follow him. But just final comments, really, Aslam. What would you like to say?
I would just say, believe in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Believe in yourself, because you're God's highest creation. You can create whatever you want. Wow. Use those 6 faculties, higher faculties, which I mentioned. Your imagination, your perception is what is normally screwing up everything around us, because we see things in a different. But the moment you change the way you look at things, Wayne has said it beautifully. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Yeah, so true. True.
We look at people in a very different way, and then we say, why are they behaving that way? But change your image, change your self-image, change everything, and believe in yourself. Use those thoughts that we get. We get over 60,000 thoughts every day.
Wow.
Use them constructively to make something of yourself. Do not entertain doubt, worry, fear. That's all bullshit. Fear. I mean, one of the things I always tell fear. People say, "Oh, I've got fear." Fear is future-based. It's not even happened, but you're giving so much energy to fear. You're bringing it into reality. Yeah. So that's what
the technology works either way. You can use it.
Either way, yeah, exactly. I mean, God's technology is using frequency, so use it. Make the most of it. Good. Get a mentor, get a coach, and you will change your life.
Absolutely. Mr. Aslam Cheval, thank you so much for sharing.
It was a pleasure.
So richly. I'm hoping to get you on again at some point. We go a little bit deeper, but really today just wanted to get the viewers to have a feel of who you are, where your expertise lies, and how they can benefit from following you and partaking in this really good process and principles which absolutely work. So thank you so much. Really appreciate you indeed.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great. So you have heard it from the master himself. I'm really, really happy that we're able to get Mr. Aslam Cheval on the show. He is an absolute authority in all of this technology of coaching, which is the process of helping you to get what you want and do it in a way that is ecological for you. So we'll have the YouTube video up. All the links will be down. Once again, thank you, dear viewers, for your time. You're important. This is why we do this, so that you can advance, create impact, and leave a legacy. My name is Matt W. Onorona. My time is up, and I really, really want to thank you for yours.